there. Um, and aims his claws. So can someone read this? Can someone read the fourth stanza? Yeah. You want to read the fourth stanza? Yeah.
Sir, I'm reading.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
And aims his claws and shoots upon his wings, no less for right the rapid chase they hailed. One urged fury, one by fear impelled, now circling round the walls their source maintained, where the high watchtower overlooks the plains, now where the Sphinx trees spread their umbrage
Broad.
broad. Still it is there.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Smoke along the road next by the splendor double source they born, where two famed mountains breast the patted ground. This hot through crouching cliff
Okay. Okay.
is seen to rise.
Parted ground. That is where the stanza
Fourth
ends.
stanza. Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Okay. And aims his claws and shoots upon his wings, no less for right the rapid chase they held, one urged by fury, one by fear impelled, now circling round the wall their course maintained, where the high watchtower overlooks the plain, now where fig trees spread their umbrage broad, a wider compass. Smoke along the road, next by his commanders, double source they bound, where two famed for fountains burst the parted ground. So the chase is going on, and and aims his claws and shoots upon the wings. Where the bird, it's just it's a sentence from the previous description, where the bird, it stretches its claws to catch the prey, right? So the same way, Achilles is, he is trying to catch Hector, and Hector is trying to slip away, right? So that is the description over here. No less for right the rapid chase they held. So, and it's a worthy chase. It's a very quick. It's a very intense chase which they're having. One urged by fury and another by fear, right? So one urged by fury and one by fear impelled. So the what is the motive for this chase? So the motive for this chase is very simple. One is furious and another is scared. As we know, Achilles is very furious because of the death of his friend, and Hector is absolutely scared, and here he is trying to escape. So now what they're doing is, if you have to you just imagine the terrain in which they are. So the city of Trojan is built on a very fertile plain with a couple of mountains, and it's a beautiful place. It's a place uh, uh, with a natural beauty, and the city has a wall. It's an entire city, and the city has a wall, and the battle takes place at the edge of the city gates, and he has run out, and he has escaped the city, and they are going around the city walls. So imagine the terrain. At one side there is mountains and a river and the plain, and the city is, it's a very big city. Imagine a city not as big as Bangalore, but for the instance, let's take Bangalore. So entire city of Bangalore, let's say, a wall is built around it, right? So how big it is, you just can imagine. So might not be as big as Bangalore, but definitely it was a very big city. So in the city, like Troy, the city of Troy, the he Hector has escaped the city and has started to ride around the city wall, right? So riding around the city wall. So this is and uh, imagine the circumference of the city walls, and how how they have to go around. If they have to go around, how long it will take, and you just can imagine that. So here we understand a little bit about the terrain where the battle will take place. So and they are now circling around the walls, right? So the city walls, and in the city walls, there are watchtowers. Watchtowers are in the cities there are certain towers which are built. So if you have seen very old forts, you can see that there will be a structure where you can stand, and when you stand, you can see for very far. So these watchtowers, now everybody has stopped fighting. The moment Achilles and Hector, they start, they decide to fight each other. I mean, Hector did not decide it, but he was compelled to fight. So the moment they are fighting, all others have stopped fighting. They've stopped the war completely, and they're looking at what is happening with Achilles and Hector. They're curiously watching over the chase. What is going to happen, right? So and the high watchtower overlooks the plain now, where the fig trees spread their umbrage broad. So umbrage is nothing but the shadow. So there are fig trees in the plains, and the shadow of the fig trees is very broad. That means the shadow has extended to very long. What does it mean? What does it mean? The shadow of the trees is very far. It's just common sense. What does it mean? In the battlefield, the shadow of the trees is stretched very far.
Has gone down. I mean, that is
Yeah,
when the shadow.
yeah. When is the shadow very long? Yeah, when it is evening, right? When is sun is at this direction, so the shadows will be very long. So the same way, it is taking place in the dusk. It's in the evening. So if you know epics, most of the fierce battles of the hero takes place during the dusk. Even in Indian mythology. So Duryodhana or Dushasana or Karna, for that matter, almost all of the major heroes' battles were fought during the evening, right? So the same way here. So so the thing is, the battle is taking place, and it's in the evening, and now the battle between Hector and Achilles starts getting curious. So wider compass means the same. Basically it has taken a larger space. That means it's evening, and and while this is happening, what is happening is the smoke along the road, how they're running in a way that the smoke is found along the road. So the horse riding, if you have seen somebody riding the horse, not on a grass but on a dust, usually the smoke is nothing but the dust. Smoke doesn't mean something is burnt. So the dust has been, it has created the cloud uh, in the place where they are riding. So uh, uh, next by his commanders double swords they bound, where two famed fountains burst the parted ground. So there is an altar outside the city. What is altar is a place where the people worship, and there is a river, and there used to be a fountain. Fountain is not the water fountain, recreational water fountain. The fountain is actually where you fetch water, right? See, the story is of 2800 years ago, And even then, they had certain structures, architectural structures, which are very significant. Especially Greeks, where Greek architecture is very known for aqueducts. Aqueducts is the water facilities, right? So how do they bring water from outside the city, because the river flows outside the city, right? So what they bring, how do they bring from outside to inside? They had a lot of technology and structures related to that. So here there are two fountains. Fountains is a pond like structure, where the water is stored and you go and fetch the water. So that structure has been destroyed, uh, because of because because they are because of the way they are moving, right? So that's an exaggeration, but you understand. So if you see some cartoons, and somebody, for example, Tom and Jerry cartoons, somebody drives a car very fast, and there is fire all around the road, right? So the same way over here, there the walk is so fast. I mean, the chase is chase the ride is so fierce that the structures have been broken and the water is coming spilling out. So that is what we what can be understood over here. This hot through Scotch uh, uh, cleft of cleft is seen to rise, where Trojan dames washed their fair garments in the days of peace. By day past one chase, one in flight, they might fled pursued by stronger might. So see, this is again the description of the place where the fight is taking place. So that place, what it describes, where cistern, did I skip? No, I did. Okay. So this hot through scorching cliffs is seen to rise. So basically, the stones which are there, they have got hot. Scorching clefts is, a very hot stone. How does the stone gets hot? They get hot because of they have been, two heroes have been riding over these stones, and because of the friction, the stones have become very hot. So that is again the indication of how fierce the uh, I mean, it's an exaggeration to say how how fierce the chase is, right? Again and again he is giving a lot of descriptions just to strengthen the idea that it's a fierce chase. That's all. So whose this hot through scorching cliff is seen to raise. The heat is increasing a lot on these stones, with the exhalation steaming to the sky. So the heat produced in the stone is steaming. Exhaling is exile. It's not the heat is the smoke, or heat wave. Heat wave is coming out of the stone. So have you ever seen heat wave coming out of the stone? In sand, usually you feel that. In sand, if you stare at the sand during a hot noon, you can see the fumes, right? The heat waves. So you can see the fumes, but you don't see fumes on the stones. Have you ever seen the fumes on the stones? Yes. Fumes on the stones?
No, sir.
No, that is because stones do not get heated up that easily. So it takes very long for stone to get heated up. So, but just because these two heroes have passed on the stone is fuming. So that's the exaggeration given here. So uh, okay, so the green banks in summer heats overflow, like crystal clear, as cold as winter snow, each gushing found in marble cistern fills. So green banks is uh, there is the river flows outside Troy is the city. So there it's a very fertile land. Troy used to be a very fertile city because there is a lot of agricultural land, very fertile land. So that is what green banks. Banks are there are two meanings for banks. One is where you transact money, right? You go to a bank and transact money. So other bank is river bank. River bank is the land beside the river, or ocean bank. Ocean bank is not so much used, but river bank, right? So just the land beside the river. So the river bank is very fertile and green. So here what used to happen was uh, what used to happen was the water flows crystal clear, as cold as winter snows. So the water is so cold. So it's a contrast to say that the water is so cold in the sense the surrounding is very cold. It's very pleasant. It's not very hot. Even in that condition, if water is water is the first thing to start getting heated up, right? So water gets heated up very easily. Stone doesn't get heated up, right? So but when water is cold, water which is just nearby, right, nearby the city, so the water is very cold, but the stone is heated up. What does it say? It says that again, the the very big exaggeration to say that Hector and Achilles are chasing in a very intense manner. Right? So that is these are the techniques employed by them. So gushing font of a marble cistern flies. Cistern is nothing but water tank kind of structures which Greeks had. So as I told you, Greeks were marvelous architects when it comes to aqueducts, or the storage of water and transporting water and all this. So and they had the water tanks can be seen. So those water tanks, which once used to house people washing clothes and using water, where will continue. Whose polished bed receives the falling rills, where Trojan dames wash their fair garments in the days of peace. So those cistern water tanks which are just beside the city, they are polished, they're polished bed is their marble structure, beautiful marble structure which used to receive the falling rills is water. So the water stream which used to go there, which used to clean the marbles, and it has kept the marbles very beautiful. And this was the place where Trojan dames washed their fair garments in the days of peace. Dames, dames are basically noble women. We can say that noble women, where Trojan women wash their garments. That means basically it's a very peaceful and a very pleasant place. Uh, now see. Imagine this, today, if somebody has to wash clothes in the river, we usually imagine not so fortunate people, right? So probably, they don't have much facilities, so that is why they go and wash in the river. But during those days, 2800 years ago, that's not the case. If you are washing, and everybody used to go and wash there. So it's a but this is the place where noble women used to go and wash their clothes, right? Not any ordinary woman. Noble women used to go and wash their clothes. And if noble woman has to go there, that means the place is supposed to be very beautiful and very peaceful, right? There, now the battle has moved to there. That means you get the idea. The peace is, it is a very peaceful pace, and now it is not peaceful anymore. So somewhere around, there is a it's a commentary on war as well. Basically, uh, Homer exaggerates war at one side. That can be seen here. Hector chasing Achilles. He is exaggerating to speak about the heroism and all. But at certain times, he says that the war has been futile. So many people. It's of it is not required, and it's not of any very good cause. So that tone can be noticed here. And by these they passed, and one chased, one flight. So that's what, same thing. One is one is running away and one is chasing. Swift, yeah, swift was the course, no vulgar play prize they play. So this game is there, right? The chasing game. So they're having this chasing game. And that is why, it is very amusing, and everybody is watching. Everybody is curious what is happening, everybody is curious. And uh, and but but this is not a very small game. This is not uh, you know some kalla police game which we play in the streets. So and the chase over here is of the great prize, that is no vulgar prize. Vulgar is here. Vulgar means small, meager, very small prize. It's not for very small prize, it's for very big prize. And what is that prize? No vulgar victim must reward the day. So it's not just, it's not very small victim. So it is actually the prize contended was great Hector's life, and when some heroes' funeral are decreed. So the prize for which they, why are they fighting? Why are they playing? So they're having this chase for one big prize. The prize is the Hector's life. And Hector is, he might look covered over here. He might look that, he's not a very good warrior, but believe me that he was a really great warrior at that time. But the Achilles stature, the way Achilles is has come, even the Hector lose the courage and starts running. That is the point over here. The point is not Hector. Hector is a great warrior as well. He's a fierce warrior as well. So the life here is the great Hector's life. Hector is, he's actually the commander of the Troy army. Nobody becomes a commander just like that. He's a great man as well. And that is what is happening here. And he is that is the price. And the such and as in races crown the speedy tribe. So it's not a small prize where 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 the winner is given a olive crown, or very small prize, that is an urn or something like that, a vessel or something like that, because that used to be usually the prize given for the winners. So now, Olympic winners are very much celebrated, right? During those times, Olympic winners, all they had got was, the olive crown. They were presented olive crown. So that's why it's not a meager prize they are playing for. The prize is the Hector's life. As when some hero's funeral is decreed, the grateful honor of the mighty deed, where high reward the vigorous youth in flame. So, but now he is describing the situation. What is the situation? Some hero's funeral are decreed. You know, hero's funeral is, one when somebody dies, we conduct funeral, right? So decreed is, ordered. That means, it is going to happen. So it is known that the death of Hector, he's hinting that, death of Hector is bound to happen. And and we are going towards that, where high reward the vigorous youth in flame, some golden tripod or some lovely dame. So the prize which used to be given during those times for the winners was this, either they were gifted with women, or they were gifted with some golden ornaments, or the vessels, actually, not even ornaments, some vessels they used to give. So that used to be the price for winning a game. But here the game is not, those price doesn't matter much. Those price are, it matters not at all. So because they are fighting for a very bigger prize. The panting courses swiftly turn the goal, and with them turn the raised spectator's soul. So, and the phase which they are going, and they this is the turn, the city is circle, in the circle shape, right? So how, and you can't run very straight. So very often you have to take the turns, right? So if you are going encircling something, you can't go straight. Often you have to take curve, and you have to bend. So whenever that happens, whenever they are taking the curve, the spectators, grow more anxious. What will happen? What will happen? So if you have ever watched the F1 race, you'll know, when it is straight, people just look at that. But whenever it is curve, that is when magic happens. Someone will overtake someone. Someone will, make a mistake, and they might fall down. So so that is why, whenever there is that curve, people are very anxious, and the spectators are, even more interested to look at the chase. Thus, the three times round the Trojan wall they fly. So, as I spoke, the Trojan walls are, it has a very large circumference, and three times they encircled, chasing one another. So, three times they encircled, and 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 the spectator's soul is getting elevated every time they turn. So this we'll deal with this last stanza, then we can end. So three times round the Trojan wall they fly, the gazing gods lean forward from the sky. So so far, we spoke about the spectators from the city, right? Everybody stopped fighting and started looking at chase of Hector and Achilles. Now, even from the heaven, from the balcony, they are looking. The gods are, leaning in. How do you see if you are from the top? You lean in and watch, right? So the gods are leaning in and watching at this chase. The gazing god leaned forward from the sky, to whom, while eager on the chase, they look. The sire of mortals and immortals spoke. So while gods are looking at this chase, and so everybody is curious what is going to happen. So the Lord of all the mortals and immortals, he started speaking. Then, so who is the Lord of all beings, mortal and immortal? So the Lord of mortal and immortal is Jove, or Zeus. So the supreme god, he started speaking. So he said, "Unworthy sight, a man beloved of heaven, behold, inglorious round you city driven." So so now the Joe started speaking, Zeus started speaking. So that is, I mean, now we know that the gods are interfering. So far, it's just a fight between, two men. Though they are heroes, they are still men. Now the gods are interfering with this. So, here, let's continue from tomorrow, and we'll discuss forward. Okay. Yes. I hope you have understood so far.